Alright, I got my cup of Java here, and my co-host is around here somewhere. I don't know, he could be just snooping through the trash. I hope not. Licking his butt. Hey, he's a dog after all, you know? When was the last time you actually sat with yourself? I mean, away from all the other distractions and the bullshit and and one of these things that we just mindlessly start clicking on in the waiting line at Chipotle. I mean, when did you last just sit down with yourself, maybe even look at yourself in the mirror and say, "Hi, David," or fill in the blank with your name. "Hi, I missed you. What have you been up to? You feel like shit. What's making you happy? What's bringing you passion?" So I decided to spend my time alone right now in space. Because what I really think is the grind of the day-to-day life that we actually could potentially just end up just falling in a sort of trap about is that somehow with it all is that we actually kind of forget a little bit of ourselves in the process. Like we actually just kind of just start going through the motions, you know, picking up habits along the way, which actually just kind of keep propelling us forward and forward and forward, but we're just kind of starting to miss ourselves a little bit. You know, we're distracted with maybe, you know, taking your dog out 50 billion times, or you're distracted with, you know, clicking on this thing, like I said before, mindlessly getting on Facebook 50 times a day, scrolling through the news feed, you know, seeing if a chicken took a crap or something like that, you know, just something ridiculous to where you're just, you know, you won't even stop to have a cup of coffee with yourself and just say, "Hi, I missed you." Now, I'm not trying to rant and just be like this negative Nancy about it, really. But what I do want to just, you know, say to everybody out there is the fact that when we just stop and we just slow down and we just take a breath, we realize maybe that we just need to spend more time with ourselves, alone with ourselves, and just ask ourselves questions and treat ourselves as our best friend and just love ourselves again. One of the things I felt and found on my journey with all this is it was an interesting story. I would go to movies sometimes with my wife, and you know, I was kind of talking her into going to them. You know, I mean, me and my wife, we share such a great love for a lot of things, but there are a few things that we kind of disagree on, movies, and mainly movies. And so for some reason my wife doesn't really love the Avengers, and that's okay. It was cool. I'm a nerd and she's geeky in her own way, but she, you know, just kind of didn't really care for it. So so we went to the movie theater, and it was so nice for her just to, you know, go to a movie with me and everything like that, you know. So we go to the theater and we sit down in the movie, and she's kind of sitting there, kind of, you know, checking her phone, you know, kind of just wanted to get out of there because she didn't really care to see it. So she just basically left, went to the lobby. She had a laptop, you know, pulled it out and just started working on something that actually excited her, and that was okay because it left me all alone in the theater just by myself. And it was interesting because growing up, I was always, and you probably relate to this too, always sort of hammered with this idea that if you go to movies by yourself, this is just an example, you go to movies by yourself, you're considered some sort of weirdo or reject or pathetic or like, "Oh, I feel sorry for that guy. Whoa, that guy's weird, blah, blah." And it's like, dude, you're just essentially just sitting down watching a movie, but you're in a public setting. And it was interesting because, you know, she left and that was fine. It was cool. She just left and just went to the lobby, and I was there watching a movie by myself. And the weird thing was that, like, initially I was like, wow, I'm in this movie by myself. I've never done that before. And so I was just sitting there and I was like, what's the big deal? I'm by myself watching a movie. And so I watched the movie, I enjoyed it, and I mean, if you go to a movie with somebody, I mean, you're not really, "Hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah." No, you're just like on the screen, hopefully if it's a good one. But, you know, I mean, after the movie was done, when it came out, she asked me how the movie was. I was like, "It was great, and it was good. I enjoyed it, and how did you have a great time right now?" And she did, and she got some stuff done, and it was awesome. So the point of that is that, I mean, I was all by myself in the movie theater. Well, though granted there are other people around, but I mean, like, within myself, I was just spending time with myself unintentionally, but it worked out that way and it was cool. The point of that is that it just got me thinking, like, you know, I was essentially on a date with my wife, but she kind of took a little, I don't know, bathroom break, I guess you can say, a really long one. And then we got back together and it was cool. But I took time to myself and just sort of, I mean, I unintentionally did it actually. So I just unintentionally had this time alone with myself, and I just kind of realized that I was like, you know what, this is actually pretty cool. You know, this is something maybe I need to do a little bit more of, because, you know, I get caught up flipping through this thing mindlessly sometimes just to kind of pass time away or whatever. So I had that idea, just like, you know, I'm gonna loan myself time to myself. Just loan myself some time. And the purpose of loaning it to myself is not to get stuck in sort of isolation, and not to get stuck in this sort of I don't know, box to where you just never see anybody ever again. Because in all honesty, we're people, and we're social animals. We love being around people. I actually love being around people, and but I do recharge by not being around people. You know, I mean, you got introverts, you got extroverts, and I think by definition, you know, introverts, it's where you go. Where do you go to recharge? What do you do to recharge? Is like the definition of both, you know. So, I mean, I love being around people, but I like being alone to recharge. So that's just my personality, you know. So what I realized with all of this and going to the movie and, you know, being there by myself and all this stuff was that I was missing myself a little bit, you know. It was like I was getting distracted with a lot of stuff, you know. And you know, I want to be the best man, best husband I can be for my wife, and just the best man I can be for myself. And I found that when you just go off alone by yourself, it doesn't have to be very long. I mean, you can go on a walk by yourself and just sort of just get the blood flowing and kind of just daydream, and it's good, you know. But I found that when you loan yourself that time, it pays itself back in like $20 billion or something like that, if you want to take it that way. So you loan yourself that time, you spend that time alone, you ask yourself these hard questions, you even maybe look at yourself in the mirror and just ask, how are you? And then when you get the answers you want, and you just kind of walk around, you just do whatever it takes to, you know, fill that time for yourself, so where you're getting to know yourself and you're basically asking yourself on a date, you know, and just saying, I love you, you know, you're me, I love you, so let's spend some time together. And I found for me, like, you know, just like maybe not watching a TV show or something like that, and just being like, turn off the TV show and maybe just walk around just being, you know, it's just kind of like giving me, you know, energy again, you know what I mean? It just kind of just fuels the fire, I guess you could say. It just recharges, it's nice. And then you come back after after you loan yourself this time, you come back and you go on with your life. And it's almost like you kind of bring it down just a notch a little bit, and you're like, there I am, I've arrived again. So, do it, man. Loan yourself some time. Spend some alone time with yourself, and loan yourself time. So if you dig this awesome rant I was going on, head over to my website, thelegendwithinyou.com, and you'll find a whole bunch of other goodies and a whole bunch of cool stuff out there. Loan yourself that time and just be. Alright? Keep it groovy, baby. See ya. So it took some digging, but I finally found the fluff ball. My little Augie. Alright, so now you can go lick your butt in peace. Ah.